again, a close combat situation. Again, you're blocking, but here's your main thing. This is when I'm in close quarters with someone. And again, this works. Let's just say I don't have my boxing gloves on, right? Because I don't know too many people that walk around with boxing gloves on the street normally. If we're in an elevator situation or an altercation that takes place within this close proximity, again, my hands they're covering my mitts the same way. I'm blocking, so if someone starts throwing punches here, I'm blocking up here. And now I'm in that position where I really want to start using my elbows and my knees. I'm in a close proximity. I'm going to start coming over, use the knees, grab, punch. You can throw punches again. Distance is my punch. See, I can keep them at the end, but if we're in that close range proximity, I'll throw my elbows, my knees, whatever I want from that position. So, remember, if you're in tight quarters, go to the elbows and the knees. You can still throw punches, you can throw kicks too, but the elbows and the knees, there's a lot more power in them, and it's a lot less movement that you have to do. Basic combinations though, the simplest to start is always going to just be your jab cross or your 1-2 depending on where you go. And it's very simple, just jab and cross. You rotate it, jab, cross. And you can double it up. You can give me the double jab, cross, you can give me jab, cross, cross. You can go back and forth, jab, cross, just kind of work it out, get your hands there. And then when you start progressing past the jab, cross, you can add the lead-handed hook on it. You can give me jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook, cross. Make your own combinations. In most boxing gyms, we have what's called, they go by numbers. So the jab is 1, cross is 2, hook is 3, uppercut off the right hand is 4, uppercut off the right hand is 5. So you can kind of just make your own combinations off that. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5, wherever you want. You kind of make up your own numbers at that. And it's really just something to flow. Usually you always kind of want to come back with the opposite hand, but you can double up the same hand a lot too. It's just on you to start getting that movement around, picking up your own combinations, start off the lead uppercut. You can go uppercut, cross, hook, cross, back and forth, side to side. Just move around with it a little bit. But most difficult combo, always the jab, cross, jab, cross. Just get used to throwing 1, 2, 1, 2. Back in the time, and then always add numbers on it. So, working on the bag is where you can really start throwing your combinations, and you can just get used to kind of moving your head a little bit, get that head movement, then ducking and rolling. So, basic combination that we like to throw is the jab, cross, or the 1, 2, like I said. You can just start off the bag. I can throw my jab, cross, and I can step and roll. Throw my jab, cross, and I can slip. Throw my jab, cross, and I can come down. Jab, cross, duck. Whatever I want. And then, again, like I said.
Does it shake the whole thing? Like this bag is shaking.
Then you can start, the frame is weak enough. Then you can start adding your hooks to it, your kicks, you can put stuff together. Go jab, cross, hook, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, roundhouse kick, you can switch it up, cross, hook, cross, knee, cross, hook, roundhouse kick, double jab, roundhouse, cross, roundhouse, then get into the uppercuts. Move around a little bit, enjoy it, work your defense. And you kind of just get used to moving around. That's how it starts. Always start slow though. Work your technique first. You want to be slow. My favorite thing to do is to get a bag by a mirror, and I'm watching in the mirror the whole time, making sure my technique looks right. Technique is fine. You don't want to be that guy in the gym just hitting the bag with a power and no kind of technique. You want to make sure it looks good at least when you're doing it. Start slow. You can always speed it up later. With boxing, with fighting, with MMA, with kickboxing, your body has to be well conditioned, your body and your mind. But the grueling workouts that you go through, it's not just strengthening your body, it is strengthening your mind as well. Typical stuff you can start. You don't need all this crazy fancy equipment. You have the best exercise machine you can. It's your own body weight, and it starts leaning you out, it starts toning you up, and you want to be strong. Your whole body really needs to be strong for boxing. So you need to have strong shoulders, you need to have strong arms, strong chest, especially a strong core, and the strong legs to kind of keep you moving. And there are a bunch of different workouts you could use without any real equipment to just kind of get yourself strong. The most basic the most basic exercise that you see in most boxing gyms, which is a fantastic push-up they've had you, which is a fantastic workout they have. You've been doing it since you were a kid, I'm sure, is push-ups. And proper form to a push-up, your feet together. You can go on your knuckles or your hands depending on how you feel more comfortable, but you want your arm to be straight underneath your shoulder. You don't want to be all the way out here, you don't want to be wide elbowed, you want to keep your hand directly underneath your shoulder. And from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my chest down, my elbows bend against my body, not outwards. Bend against my body, push it back up. Back stay straight the whole time. Come down, bring the chest to the floor, and up. Down and up. Down and up. Down and up. Now, let's say you get a little tired in the middle of this push-up section, but you still want to keep working the shoulders and the core. You're going to start working your mountain climbers right from there. Very simple. Bring one knee in, you kick the other leg back. Nice and quick. This is getting your core working, this is keeping your heart rate up, and it's keeping the shoulders activated. Again, say you want to switch from the push-up a little bit, but you still want to work the arms and the core. We go down into plank position, back up to push-up. Down to plank, back up to push-up. Plank, push-up. When you get tired again, you can just hold that plank position down. Holding this plank is stabilizing your core, making your ab muscles work, stabilizing your shoulders, making them work. Again, overall body is keeping you activated. So that's one of my favorites for the shoulders and for the core. Number 2, strong core. I could go through a million different workouts for your core. You really don't need that many, but of course you have your basic simple sit-up. You could always just switch it up. You go from our basic sit-up where we plant both feet on the floor and sit up to the chest to the knees. Now we can pick the legs up out straight, bring our knees into our chest without letting them touch the floor again. If you want, you can keep both legs straight. This way we're working V-ups. We're working the middle section of the core. Come up, touch your feet, extend it all the way. Come up, touch your feet, extend it all the way. From there, we could also just hold this position right here. Again, stabilizing the core, making it work. Shoulders are off the mat, heels are off the mat. My core is very tight right now. It's working, it's activated. If I get tired, I can start hitting my sit-ups again. Another one we do is the bicycle. The elbow touches the knee, other leg fully extended. I'm working my upper and my lower abs here. Everything's getting activated in that body. Good. That one good. Then we have basic squats. We want to work the legs a little, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. What I can do, very simple. I keep my feet about shoulder width apart. My back stays straight. I'm not leaning forward over it. I want to sit over my legs. I come down as low as I can, almost to where my hamstrings are touching my calves. And come back up. Keep both arms up and down. Both arms out and up. If you want to add a little bit of explosiveness to it, you could add a squat jump to it. Hop up with it. This is also going to start activating the calves. You could also do as you come up, just come up on the tippy toes to really work those calves. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Again, there are a million variations for these. It's up to you. You could, you can put your own spin on it, but you're going to start working it just with your own body weight, help you get stronger for boxing and kickboxing.
Hi there, how are you? So, as you know, I'm not a boxer. I'm a beginner, and this is why it's great, because while Joey, he's very experienced in this, I'm going to show you the mistake that I've been making, so that as a beginner, if you're a beginner, don't make the mistake that I'm making. So this is where, this is going to be a little bit of a case study of the mistakes that I make. The number one mistake that I used to make, because when you start, you practice with a bag, right? With a heavy bag or a person. And what do? You just wail at it, right? Because you don't care. But what you always want to do, keep your hands right here. Because in a real situation, if you're in a ring or whatever, self-defense situation, hopefully you don't have to ever do that. But always protect, okay? And by the way, use your hands not just to protect your head, but to protect your upper body. Because so the second mistake I would make is, once I learn to keep my hands up, the mistake I'd make is keep my elbows out, or not watch where they are. But they have to be in, protecting your ribs. And the tighter you are, the more you're protecting down here. So with one hand, you're protecting a lot. Whereas if you're having, just a relaxed stance, you're not completely sure, you're opening up. And you don't want to open up. So this is going to lead me to another mistake that I made. So now we know not to open up. So our stance is tight, right? But what do we want to do? We want to punch hard, right? Look how open it is. Hook, look how open it is. But these are my real punches. This is how, in the first few months where I started learning boxing, this is what I would do. The jab is the basic jab, but the two powerful punches, right, are the big cross. And if you miss this cross, the opponent comes outside of you and hits you this whole area. right? So you don't want to miss that. And then you get the cross, but then you got the big hook. And if you really go around, you can generate so much power, and it's like, it's very exciting. Especially when you feel yourself hitting your bag really hard, you know, hopefully not a person. But it's really exciting. Go boom, and you feel good. Like I felt good, and I was going like boom. But notice how much of a wide punch this is. This is wrong, right? Because some boxers call this telegraphing, where if you're on the receiving end of this, if it connects, great, but chances are it won't connect because you'll see it from a mile away, right? Because I'm doing this big wind up. You know, I even do this mistake. I like even dip down, so I do even more. And then the mistake that I would make is to just try to hit it too hard, right? But if you miss this, and you totally make yourself off balance, and you have all this thing open. So what is the right way to do this? Now, for the right way, watch how Joey does this. But you want to keep everything tight, right? So we know protecting here, protecting inside, right? Protecting the ribs and liver and everything else, right? Protecting against the body shots and the head shots. So the punches are tight. The punches come in like this, and the cross is this. And the uppercut is also tight, right? And when you do the uppercut, it's kind of like, I tend to dip down a lot. That's a mistake. You want to do this quick. You want to generate power from your hips, but you don't want to like, dip like I dip. That's a rookie mistake. Like, I know I need to fix that, but I still do it, you see? So, I do this, but that's a mistake. So but you still want to generate that power, right? And when you're tight like this, so you're still closed up. You don't generate as much power if you did a wailing hit, right? So where does the power come from? Power comes from two things. The quickness with which you do this, and correct technique. Okay? So if you practice drill, this is what I'm told, by the way. Drill. Like, you know, it's not like I'm a professional boxer telling you practice. I myself need to practice, but the way that is explained to me is that when I practice these punches, and after a lot of hours of practicing, or a lot of repetitions, your technique will be strong. So, and the quickness, right? And also, technique, a part of the technique is using your body. So, one mistake I make is with my hook. Like, I love to give like a big winding hook, right? But look at how off I am. Look at this. I mean, this is off, right? It feels good when I connect, but it's totally off balance. You want to stay straight, and you want to do that twist a little bit, so, right? As opposed to, okay? Same with the cross, okay? The cross, it has to get help from your hip, so, okay, if you just do the cross, it's not as powerful, but if you lay into it, so it's the speed of the punch, and whether you're able to put enough body behind you. Same with the hook, right? You put a little bit of your body, you twist, you do the twist during the hook, see the leg? It's a little bit of a twist, but not too much, so you're still closed, your defense is good, and you're able to defend, you're not going to get hit as well. Because boxing is not about punching as much. Well, it is about punching, but as a beginner, I thought like, hey, this is going to be really cool, going to punch. But smart boxers don't want to get hit. But a lot of it is about defense because, and this is a good thing to get into your stance and footwork, right? So your footwork, you always want to move. You want to move, and again, I'm a beginner, but the footwork is. Usually I would stand in a straight line. I would just stand, right? But you don't want to make yourself an easy target. You always want to move. and you can pivot. Always walk around so that you're not easy to aim at, right? And as you do this, as you walk around, you swivel your head, right? These are called small slips. So always, and it's actually difficult for me to do this. I haven't gotten the technique right yet. But what you're supposed to do is kind of you walk around, right? Your opponent, you walk around and you're always on the balls of your toes, right? So you kind of always quick. What you want to do is also move your head a little, right? So that they never get a clear shot. From the time that they wind up, you're somewhere else already, right? So it's really hard for them. Really hard for them, and then you're looking for their openings. And what you're doing is working the jab. Because the jab is your defense, right? Because if you jab that, jab, they can't get close. But your jab also, you move around, jab, see how they react to your jab, because you learn how they react to the jab, and you see where their opening is, and you jab, come in with the cross, do the rest. Okay? That's sort of my tips as a beginner, the mistakes that not to make, and things I'm learning. So hopefully you haven't had a great laugh. Hopefully this was helpful. Because sometimes I felt when a teacher explains to you and they're very advanced, they make it look easy. But we don't want to make it look too easy, because I think sometimes it's valuable to see how other beginners are that in the same boat as we are. And so hopefully that was helpful.